Welcome everyone to the third MRO T3 Challenge of 2008 here at a gloriously sunny Brands Hatch. And we've got an action-packed programme featuring racing from the support build to the British Superbikes at Brands Hatch on the full Grand Prix circuit. And we'll be seeing the riders from the MRO 125 Superteens. This brilliant starter series for riders from 12 to 18 years old. Then the third round of the Triumph Triple Challenge, featuring action from the Michelin Young Guns and the TDG Cup. And this will be backed up with even more race action from the MRO Pirelli Metzler Superstock 1000s. Well, it's the most glorious day here at Brands Hatch. Everyone bathing in the sunshine and down on the grid. These superb young riders in the MRO 125 Superteens, and on pole position, a real star, not just of the future, but a star for now. Young Stephanie Wadlow, the only girl in the field at the moment, number 34, she's on pole position. Tommy Dale, number 74, he's alongside her. Fraser Rogers, still just 12 years old, number 89, and on the outside of that front row, number 3, Jack Blake. That's row 1 for the 125 Superteens. Second row, Matt Paolo, David Pearce, Casey Wyatt and Alex Olsen. But that's enough of the grid as the red flag moves out of the way. Red lights are on. Out they go and away goes Stephanie Wadlow from pole position, but just underneath and moving fast. Yes, it's Fraser Rogers, the young 12-year-old. He is going to be first into Paddock Hill Bend, and he's got the line there as they run down the dip and up into Druids. So 89, Fraser Rogers has it just on turn-in. There he goes through the corner. Steph Wadlow there, jammed up against the inside curbing by number 25, Matt Paolo. Matt, young rider down from Glasgow. He'll be loving this in the sunshine, but Steph just ducks out to have a little look as they run on the entry into Surtees, and of course using the full Grand Prix circuit here at Brands. So Surtees becomes a very different corner on the long circuit, and Steph has the drive up the hill. It's terribly important to get the exit right from Surtees. It's a steep climb up onto that Grand Prix loop, and Stephanie Wadlow from pole is into second place. Now this group just forming at the front. Looks like a little breakaway of half a dozen or so. There, the orange machine of Danny Buchan. Danny, who's picked up a couple of wins here back in March. He was very good on the Indy circuit when it was soaking wet. Well, thank goodness it's anything but that today. Absolutely beautiful. And the Grand Prix circuit at Brands, one of the more beautiful circuits, it has to be said, in the world. So, for the first time basking, up through Sheen Curve and down into the dished bend at Stirling's, and it's still Fraser Rogers from Steph Wadlow under the Medical Centre bridge there and rejoining the Indy circuit. Fraser leads, and look at this. David Pearce up into third place, just ahead of Tommy Dale. Bit of a twitch there, and a bit more of a twitch for Ashley Jones, the number 12 machine in retirement there. Marshall's clear that, but look at this gang at the front. Now what have we got? 6 of them in that breakaway, being chased by the pack, and at the head of it, it's still 89 Fraser Rogers, but Steph Wadlow goes to the big one round the outside at Druids, and as long as she can get it stopped in time, and she's over the white line, but she keeps it upright, and Steph takes the lead. There we see 66, that's Casey Wyatt running wide. Now he looks as though he had the thing running, so hopefully he'll be back on the track. But Stephanie Wadlow up through Surtees, leading now from Fraser Rogers. You can see Fraser in that rookie jacket. He's got the orange bib on in second place. Heads down. Tommy Dale now up into third. Matt Paolo into fourth. And David Pearce, who was in third just a couple of corners ago, down into fifth place and being harassed by number 3, Jack Blake there as they run up through Hawthorns, one of the fastest corners on the entire circuit. Now, down the Derek Minter straight they run. Derek, one of the great racers of all time here at Brands Hatch. And now up through Sheen Curve. Steph, having hit the front, will be determined to put a little break between herself and the rest, but they'll be looking to let her do anything but. Tommy Dale there right in the mix in fourth place now. heads down and chasing hard under the bridge and back on to complete another lap, and that is Wayne Ryan, number 11 machine. He is out of it, but standing up there watching the marshals do the work as the leaders come down into Paddock Hill Bend. And still, look at this, Steph has managed to make a little bit of a break, but Fraser Rogers has bridged the gap. He's back with her and towing them with him. So it looks to me as though Tommy Dale has just got the better of that fight for third. Yes, he has. And look, he's dragged him back. So there was a bit of a gap maybe 3 corners ago, and it's been reduced, and Fraser Rogers has a little look up the inside. The problem with using the inside Surtees like that is it doesn't give you great exit speed, and immediately you can see a couple of bike lengths advantage to Steph, and they've really got to work hard behind her to stop her drifting away into the far distant future. Here they come up through Hawthorns. Tommy Dale there in 3rd place, but look at the battle behind. Positions changing all the time. Jack Blake, I think, has got the better of him at the moment, so Jack up into 4th place on the number 3 machine. At the moment, down into the dip of Dingledale and up into Sheen Curve goes Stephanie Wadlow and Fraser Rogers, 1 and 2. There they go. And down this short straight to line up for this lovely dish corner of Stirling's, and behind, well, there's, Jack Blake right with Tommy Dale as they run down under that medical centre bridge, and he's putting him under pressure. He gets alongside, but he can't quite make it stick, and in fact losing out there to Matt Pallow, runs round the outside, and Jack, well, he's I don't know whether the old machine's firing on all cylinders at the moment, because he should be battling for the lead, and instead he's battling for those places at the back of this pack. There goes Tommy Dale then, down to 4th, because Matt Paolo on the straight carried that speed, having overtaken Jack Blake, carried him right past and up into 3rd place. But Tommy Dale comes back at Truitt's and he just threads the needle there, runs a little wide on the exit, and a bit of a twitch from Fraser Rogers, but luckily they all stay on board. So now Steph Wadlow, Fraser Rogers, Tommy Dale having regained 3rd place, but Matt Paolo has got his nose right in there as well, and Jack Blake and David Pearce just at the back of that group. Well, it's relentless stuff. Steph's lapping well, but she's not able really to put a gap on the rest. But at the same time, they're squabbling over positions, so they're not able to work together really and attack Steph. Well, Fraser is having a go on his own now. He's up the inside, or tries to, at Hawthorns. Such a quick corner, but not enough speed to carry him past the number 34 machine. And there, looking further back, we see a battle there. Niall Campbell and Danny Buchan, and they are fighting over 7th and 8th. Oh, absolutely side by side, coming up through Dingledale and into Sheen Curve. It is possible to get 2 machines side by side through there, but not always wise. But they are having an absolutely superb battle. They just lost touch with the leading group, you fancy, too far, but they've got ahead of the rest of the field, where the likes of Alex Olsen, I think, are recovering. Casey Wyatt doing their best to catch these two. But there, Stephanie crosses the line to complete another lap, and look at this. Matt Paolo up the inside, just takes the position from Tommy Dale, but runs wide. He washes out the exit, and Tommy straight back at him. And Jack Blake had a brilliant Paddock Hill bend and looks as though he got up alongside Matt Paolo as well, and indeed he has. Jack Blake up into 4th place, so Matt Paolo drops back to 5th ahead of David Pearce. Oh, and Matt Paolo running a little wide. He rattles it over the curbs and has a good look behind, and yeah, don't have to look too far. David Pearce right there with him. Look at Tommy Dale under pressure once again from Jack Blake, and Jack gets a good run up the hill. Oh, and he's doing absolutely everything. He's looking left, he's looking right. But now, here we are in this straight line. This is the fastest part of the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. At the bottom of the dip now is where the timing line is, and Jack Blake, he fancies a little bit down on power. He had the run up the hill, and he's trying. Look at him, everything. He looks left, he looks right, he looks over the top and underneath, but he cannot find a way through. And Tommy Dale is working hard there for that third place at the moment, and that is Jordan Wainwright. Jordan Wainwright, well, he's going to be back into the race. He's obviously just run wide at Surtees. That's the cut through in front of the medical centre. But the leading group of 6 has at the moment broken into these 3 little head-to-head duels. And still with the last lap flag out, it's Stephanie Wadlow across the line, leading from Fraser Rogers. Then this superb battle, and look at Jack Blake. He's done that beautifully. He really did line up Tommy Dale there, and that was a real racecraft. He had the correct line, but Tommy Dale's not giving up yet. He's going to stick it up the inside of Druids, and he does, and he's very quick in the early part of the corner, and oh dear, big twitch, and he's down. Oh, he was just carrying too much speed in the corner. Oh, Tommy, can you feel me? Tommy, can you see me? Tommy, can you? Yep, Tommy, I've got some help here. Come on, Tommy. Oh, he'll be absolutely mortified. Oh, yes, look at that. Just a little too much speed to get it turned in the front. Oh, just cries enough. And down he goes, and thank goodness he's up and okay. But that was no reward at all for a great ride. But look at this, Stephanie Wadlow. This is going to be a perfect weekend for her. She qualified on pole. She's looked a winner really since she hit the front in this race. Fraser Rogers, though, right on her tail and keeping her honest. There's one corner to go. He's got to have a go, surely. And he's got the line, but Stephanie does that beautifully. She just sticks to her own line through clearways and up onto the Bradman Straight for the last time. It's going to be checker flag time and a win for number 34, Stephanie Wadlow from 89. Fraser Rogers, and look at the battle for third. Well, Jack Blake's mum thinks he's got it, and he has. Third position to Jack Blake ahead of Matt Paolo. But look at the hand waving there, Steph Wadlow. Jack Blake's pleased with that behind her. And Fraser Rogers, just 12 years old, shakes hand with the winner. And Steph Wadlow in front of this glorious huge crowd greeting her win. She wins from Fraser Rogers. Jack Blake third, Matt Paolo a good fourth, David Pearce fifth, and Niall Campbell in 6th place. And there, Stephanie getting her garland of victory and her trophy from Superbike rider Stuart Easton. And there we see Jack Blake exhausted after his 3rd place, and Fraser Rogers a brilliant 2nd, chasing Stephanie all the way. And Stephanie, well, exhausted but very pleased with the win.
Jack Blake 3rd place there. Very hard race for you. The bike looked a little bit down on power.
Yes, it was our race all weekend. My bike's been down on power. It's just, I'm glad someone else noticed. But you know, it's so hard. I have to push it so hard through the corners, sliding a bit over the curb somewhere else. And yes, it's hard work. You know, I have to set up, do the mechanics myself. I mean, I changed engines Thursday, the day we were leaving. So, but yeah.
Fraser, 2nd place, chasing Stephanie very hard there. Couldn't quite do it though.
No, well, I thought I had actually had a high side up at Druids, but I really thought I was going to try and get it then. But well, both our back tyres were just gone, so we were sliding everywhere. I couldn't get the power down just to get the drive out corners, so.
Stephanie Wadlow, what a fantastic weekend here at the British Superbike meeting, and a superb win in front of this huge crowd. How happy are you?
Really happy. I mean, I can't get much better. Pole position, 4 wins out of 4. There's not much else I can do, really.
Now, that did look like Fraser was putting you under a lot of pressure in that race. Did you feel it?
Yeah, I knew he was there, and then, like he said, I had the high side on the last lap out of Druids, and I thought I'd lost it, but I kept my head down and kept going.
Great win for Steph. Girls, yes, what are you waiting for? Next up, the Triumph Triple Challenge. Well, it's a brilliant showcase for the Triumph Triple Challenge competitors here at Brands Hatch. We chatted to the series boss, Tony Scott.
Tony Scott, glorious day here at Brands Hatch. The 2nd year of the Triumph Triple Challenge, and things really look to be picking up with it.
Yeah, it's got off to a good start. I mean, one of the most important things about a championship is the people that's in it. So I was a little bit nervous about, you know, were we going to get such a good bunch of people, what was the standard of riding going to be, but, you know, we've come to Brands Hatch already, we've broken the lap record, so, yeah, good people, championships got off to a good start.
Hey, here at Brands Hatch, the 2nd year of the Triumph Triple Challenge, and things really look to be picking up with it.
Yeah, they've got off to a good start. I mean, one of the most important things about a championship is the people that's in it. So I was a little bit nervous about, were we going to get such a good bunch of people? What was the standard of riding going to be? But, we've come to Brands Hatch already. We've broken the lap record. So, yeah, good people. Championships got off to a good start. Some real good riders showing their cards quite early on. But as last year, you can't tell from that, because halfway through the season, all of a sudden, those at the back started coming forward and the competition got hotter. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that's the way it's going to go again this year.
Yeah, and also the competition between the young guns and the TDG Cup is very equal.
Yeah, it's a lot more equal than it was last year. It was always the young guns up the front end of the field now, with Mark Cheetham coming into to the Cup, aka the Pie Man, and I think I might have to get him to eat a few more, slow him down a little bit. But he's shown his colours early on and he's fast on the bike. But there's some wild cards who've come in this weekend. Glyn Davis, Stuart Mitchell, Lance Carey. I mean, brilliant ride, pole position in qualifying. I'm really pleased for him, because up until now he's been hanging back. So, once again it says anyone can win at this. People are going to move backwards and forwards in the championship, and I think that's one of the things that makes it as good as it is.
And of course, being here at the BSB weekend, a really big boost for the Triumph Triple Challenge.
Yeah, undoubtedly for us and for the sponsors. Just for the boys to ride in front of these crowds and be in the same atmosphere as what's developed at British Superbikes. Superb weekend, and I've been quite proud to watch the Triumphs out there doing their thing. They look good, they sounded great.
Well, they look good, they sound great. We'll see how they race. On pole position, number 10, Lance Carey. Alongside him is 58, Tom Fisher. Those two Michelin young guns. Then we have number 15, Mark Cheetham, the first of the TDG Cup runners, the competition for the over 25s, and then back to another young gun, Josh Wainwright on 55 on the outside of that front row. Second row, well, Toby Glenn, Glyn Davis, Ricky Chadwick, and qualifying fifth fastest, number 96, Jack Sim there. But down to business, flag marshal out of the way, red lights on and off, and what a start from Lance Carey outside of that front row, and charging down towards Paddock Ben. Jack Sim looking as though he got a good start there as well, and Ralph Turco's not too far back. He's in, let's see, around about fourth position as they run up into Druids. But look at Jack Sim trying to hang it on right round the outside, but that's not going to impress Lance Carey much. Lance, well, nearly loses it on Graham Hill Bend, but Jack has to stand on the anchors just to get it stopped in time. See if he tries the inside. He will, but he's not going to get it. And look at that, Jack Sim. I mentioned this before, but if you hug the inside all the way up through Surtees, you will lose places. And Lance Carey it is that leads. Mark Cheetham briefly getting up into second, but Jack Sim on the power as they come down under the Johnny Herbert Bridge up towards Hawthorns, regains second place, and Ralph Turco all over the case of Mark Cheetham at the moment, and Josh Wainwright tucked in behind in fifth place as this huge field of tribes, and Tony Scott's absolutely right, they sound absolutely glorious, the sound reverberating in the woods here out at the back of the Grand Prix loop at Brands Hatch. And Lance Carey having set a very good pole position indeed, determined to lead away from there, which he does under the bridge for the first time at the medical centre and out onto Clearways, Clark Curve and the Brabham Straight. A lot of great racers commemorated in the corners and straights here at Brands, and joining them, well, Lance Carey from Jack Sim and Mark Cheetham. Down through Paddock Hill Bend they plunge, and just the most brilliant opportunity this weekend for these racers who race regularly on club racing programmes to be in front of this enormous crowd at British Superbike at Brands Hatch, all courtesy of a bit of snow. The BSB meeting, of course, snowed off a few weeks back, and this date anyway was going to be the Bemsey and MRO Club weekend, so the two have been amalgamated, and it means that these Triumph riders race in front of the biggest crowd they're going to see this year. And Lance Carey responding to that, and Jack Sim good second position. Look at Ralph Turco there under pressure as they come up into Hawthorns, and it looks like Josh Wainwright. It is Josh that is putting Ralph Turco under pressure, and just tucked in behind them, Mark Kringle, the young rider from the Isle of Man. Of the three leaders, a little bit of a breakaway at the front, coming up through Sheen Curve, and Ralph Turco then heading that pack. But look at him closing right up at the front. Lance Carey had a little bit of a lead, and Jack Sim and Mark Cheetham really hunting him down in the battle for the TDG Cup. Jack and Mark, the leading runners in this race for the competition for the over 25 riders. But look at Lance Carey head down. This is a brilliant performance by him. It was a good pole, as I mentioned, but the TDG Cup guys were catching him, and now he's put a bit of a gap on him out the front. And well, this really is what he's got to do now: head down and concentrate, not worry about what's going on behind, just try and keep the lines, keep the speed up, and let them fight over themselves. There's a wonderful battle going on for 4th, 5th and 6th, and we can see that Ralph Turco is in the mix with Josh Wainwright, but they've been caught. It looks like it could be Glyn Davis that's got up there with them, but meanwhile the leaders up onto that Grand Prix loop, up that sharp hill, and then it's full blast, turn on the taps underneath the bridge, and heading down once again for that fastest part of the circuit up into the entry into Hawthorns. And Mark Cheetham, he's having a lovely time, isn't he? You could tell he's thoroughly enjoying this race. Jack Sim is off the bike to the left, to the right, every which way, trying desperately to hang on to that second place. But Mark Cheetham he just looks very comfortable, as though he's having a thoroughly good time chasing hard after Jack, and the three of them down into Stirlings. Jack Sim is one of the taller riders, and you can certainly see it shows. He's all limbs as he gets off that bike to get round the corners. Look at that knee, absolutely not just down, but virtually his entire leg lying on the track there at Clearways. Cheetham's got a good line. Has he got the exit speed from Clearways this time? Now ducking down underneath that Paddock Hill bend, and Jack Sim, out goes the knee and the elbow, but he can't repel borders. Mark Cheetham beautifully and smoothly through into second place. Runs a little wide on the exit of Paddock, but Jack Sim does the same. So those positions are now altered. Well, Lance Carey, a comfortable lead at the moment. Mark Cheetham, the cork is out the bottle. Can he now? Yes, and Lance Carey looks over his shoulder, and he'll see that now it's not the yellow of Jack Sim, it's the red of Mark Cheetham that's in second place. Can Mark Cheetham get his head down and really buckle down to the chase and put pressure on Lance Carey? Well, I have to say at the moment it looks as though he can. He's got himself a little bit of a gap already, and there we see the battle behind them, and that's our man from the Isle of Man, Mark Kringle, and goodness me, Stuart Mitchell. Stuart, who started right at the back of the grid, and he's worked his way all the way through the field up into 5th. But Lance Carey, now this battle at the front is all about the gap, and well, I think certainly visually, I'm going to have to wait till they get round to the start-finish line to check the clocks, but you'd say Mark Cheetham was definitely closing on Lance Carey. Out of the shadows under the bridge they come to complete another lap around Clearways and Clark Curve. And look at those huge crowds watching the action, absolutely enthralled by this Triumph Triple Challenge. And I tell you what, the riders will be enthralled as well. They will be fully aware that they're riding in front of the biggest crowd they've had the opportunity to entertain in their lives. And that's a superb battle, once again, for 4th and 5th between Stuart Mitchell and Mark Kringle. Right up the front, Lance Carey. Oh, that's definitely shrunk. And in fact, Mark Cheetham has put in the fastest lap of the race so far, and he is very much quicker over that last lap than Lance Carey, so we could be on for another head-to-head at the front of this before long. Up the hill they run. There, oh, glorious sight. Heads down and absolutely full on it, running down the long straight towards Hawthorns. And Lance Carey, well, he won't. There aren't many places you can stick your head over your shoulder and have a look behind on this circuit, but that would have been one of them. He'll be aware that Mark Cheetham has closed right up with him. Through Dingledale they run, up through Sheen Curve, and Mark Cheetham is really on the gas down towards Stirling's. So Lance Carey is still in the lead, but only just from Mark Cheetham. Lance Carey then still leads. Mark Cheetham right in his wheel tracks. Triumph Triple Challenge, Brands Hatch. The support race to British Superbikes, and absolutely blazing away at the front. Well, Lance Carey had a lead of, well, maybe 20, 25 bike lengths just a few laps ago, but Mark Cheetham, once he managed to work his way past Jack Sim, has been turning it on. And look at Jack Sim, he's under pressure now because that's Stuart Mitchell. Stuart, who started right at the back of the grid, pressurising him as they run round Druids, but here back to the battle for the lead. Mark Cheetham, yes, quick look over the shoulder from Lance Carey. Yes, he's there, Lance, you don't need to look again. Well, good defending there from Jack Sim. He's keeping the blue-wheeled machine of Stuart Mitchell behind him, and Mark Kringle right there on his case as well, number 37. But look at this, Mitchell pulls out alongside Jack Sim and just chops across his nose. They run into Hawthorns, and Sim had the line up the inside, but Stuart Mitchell did that beautifully, and Stuart takes that third place into Westfield. Long sweeping right-hander down into the wicked little dip of Dingledale, and then up into the smooth right-hander of Sheen Curve. Down to Stirling's. They can see the two leads ahead of them. They will be aware that the battle has been joined for the lead. Once more under the bridge and onto clearways, and you can see that Mark Cheetham has just nipped ahead of Lance Carey up the front. We just caught a glimpse of the red leathers there. So Mark Cheetham, he's done it. He's into the lead and into Paddock Hill Bend, and Lance Carey, having led every inch of this race so far, has now got to see if he can regroup. He must let Mark Cheetham establish too much of a lead. He's got to come back at him, and he's also got to be aware that behind there's going to be pressure. Ooh, and he nearly did get unseated there. He took a bit of an early apex, I felt, and almost had to sit up there. Did Lance Carey in his effort to screw every ounce of speed out of that machine. But look at this. Stuart Mitchell, having got past Jack Sim, has just upped the wick a little as well, and is closing in third place. And Jack Sim under pressure from Mark Kringle. There is Jack. Well, at one stage he was up there really fighting for the lead, but at the moment he's in fourth, and that fourth is, as I say, under pressure. And there we can look back to that chasing group. Glyn Davis, Reese Rothwell's in there, Tim Venables, Toby Glenn. Toby, who had a great race yesterday, but was a faller at Westfield, and now thankfully staying on board. But here is that battle for sixth, headed by number 55, Josh Wainwright. And chasing up through Sheen Curve, we can see Ralph Turco there on the back of that little group. Through Stirling as they run down towards the top of Clearways. Still out the front, Mark Cheetham leads from Lance Carey, but look at this, battle has been joined, and the foot coming off the peg there as Reese Rothwell tries to just run it up the inside of Josh Wainwright. And he's carried the speed well off Clearways, and he's carried it all the way to the top of Paddock Hill Bend. As long as he can get it stopped, it's going to work. Through, and beautifully done goes Reese Rothwell. But Josh will have back at him if he can, as they run into Druids. And, well, a tighter line by Josh Wainwright, but Reese Rothwell, he just slides the bike across to the outside Optimum line down into Graham Hill Bend and really makes that place his. Meanwhile, at the front, it's stretching between first and second, but look at third. Stuart Mitchell in third is definitely hunting down Lance Carey. There's Lance He's lost that lead, but now he's going to make sure he doesn't lose anything else. Here he is down into Dingle Dell, and not that far back, way there he is the third place machine of Stuart Mitchell. Still Mark Cheetham, number 15, the TDG Cup leader and the overall race leader. Down under the bridge, he'll be absolutely made up by this. He's had a great race and he's really had to work hard for his lead. And Stuart Mitchell, perhaps working hardest of all, started right at the back of the grid, but he's worked his way through the entire field up to third. So there, Stuart Mitchell still chasing hard. And the leader, Mark Cheetham, into the hairpin Druids. It just does look so neat through there. And at the moment, he is lapping at a pace that none of the others can match. He's the fastest of the TDG Cup runners, and in third place, Stuart Mitchell is the fastest of the Michelin Young Guns. And once again, there we see just behind that battle, Jack Sim and Mark Kringle tries to run it up the inside, but that's not the line you want through there. And Jack Sim settles down to try and hang on to that fourth place. And Mark Kringle not giving him any peace at all. Mark over from the Isle of Man to do this full season on the Triumphs. He's of course the championship leader coming into this weekend, but there's Stuart Mitchell, who's absolutely flying in this race, in third place. And just behind him, there we see Jack and Mark once again. And they run down into Sterling's, but there's Josh Wainwright. Josh, he rides into retirement. So end of the race for him. He's had great battles there, but no, number 55, he parks it up and walks away. But the last lap flag is out. And Mark Cheetham crosses the line. Lance Carey, this has been a brilliant ride. Okay, Mark Cheetham did hunt him down. He got the better of him and took the lead. But Lance has stuck at it. And Stuart Mitchell in third. Well, he'll be aware of that pressure, will Lance, behind him. But he has maintained that second position very well. And he's still keeping Mark Cheetham honest at the front. But Mark, frankly, he's got to be so happy with this one. He'll be as chuffed as a budgie with two mirrors. He's running down now into Surtees for the last time. Up the short sharp hill onto the Grand Prix loop. Bit of a right-hand kink at the top. And then it is flat on the tank down under the bridge. Lance Carey still just around about a second the gap between the two of them, so Lance is still pushing on towards the end of this, but at the moment Mark Cheetham a bit of almost a victory lap. He's going to bring this home, barring any untoward mechanical incident. He just doesn't look like he's going to chuck it down the road, does he? He's ridden a beautiful race. Quick look over the shoulder there, check where they all are. Don't worry, Mark. Lance is still there, but I think you can be comfortable with this one. Into clearways for the last time. So the Triumph Triple Challenge, yes, he loves that. Number one, thank you very much. And the checker flag and the win in the Triumph Triple Challenge to Mark Cheetham, also winning the TDG Cup, and second place to Lance Carey, who is the leading Michelin Young Gun home, and a good third to Stuart Mitchell. Cheetham, Carey and Mitchell, the 1, 2, 3, and Mark Kringle at the end, just getting ahead of Jack Sim in that battle for fourth, and Glyn Davis in sixth place. There, Mark Cheetham enjoying himself thoroughly after a superb win. There, the TGG Cup result. Mark Cheetham the winner from Jack Sim, Glyn Davis third, Ralph Leturco fourth, Ricky Chadwick in fifth, and Steve Jordan sixth. And there, yes, he's pleased with that. Well done to Mark Cheetham, the trophy and the garland of victory.
Glyn Davies, sixth overall, third position on the podium in the TDG Cup, and your first ride on the Triumph. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was hard getting used to it, but once I got into it, done quite good. Pleased.
Now, coming from the Mini Twins, what's the different characteristics between that and the Triumph?
the Triumph's a lot more physical. It's a lot harder to ride it. It's a lot more power, obviously, but yeah, it's a lot sharper as well. It's more of a race bike.
So you must be pleased to get on the podium in your wildcard race.
Very pleased. Yeah.
Jack Sim, 5th overall, 2nd in the TDG Cup. Hard race.
That was hard out there, yeah. Was in 2nd to start with after the first couple of bends, and felt like I could attempt a chance for the lead at one point in that first couple of laps, but then just gradually started to lose a couple of places over the race. But it was just so hot out there. It was hard work keeping up to the same pace lap after lap.
Mark Cheetham not only taking the victory in the TDG Cup, but the overall race win, 2nd of the weekend. How happy are you, Mark?
Oh, it's just like a dream come true. I don't need to do anything else with my life now. Brands Hatch, 30,000 people, and it's going to be on TV as well, and to win it like that, it's just fantastic. It's great to come from behind, not lead it from the start. You have to put a few passes in, and I just loved it. Great. It's what bike racing, it's just the best, isn't it?
So Mark, congratulations, fantastic victory in front of this huge BSB crowd. Well done.
Yeah, thanks very much, and I'd just like to thank ghostbikes.com as well for giving us a bit of help, which always, that's how we can race, with a bit of help off other people, so cheers to them.
And cheers to you, Mark. You'll be enjoying this, the Triumph Triple Challenge TDG Cup Championship points. Mark Cheetham leads from Jack Sim, Ralph Turco. Paul Hughes is 4th, Ricky Chadwick 5th, and Andy Batt in 6th. And there, Lance Carey, pole position, 2nd in the race overall, but the leading Michelin young gun from Stuart Mitchell, Mark Kringle 3rd, Rhys Rothwell 4th, Tim Venables 5th, and Toby Glenn 6th. There we see a very happy Lance Carey indeed. Alongside him, Stuart Mitchell and Mark Kringle. Lance, yes, well may you be exhausted, sir. Very hot stuff indeed, as the air horns congratulate the Michelin Young Guns.
Stuart Mitchell, we saw you first time on the Triumph at Cadwell Park last time out. You were on the podium. 3rd place overall, 2nd Young Guns here at Brands Hatch. Pleased?
Yeah, considering the start of the weekend that we had again was a bit iffy and stuff like that, and then didn't get a very good start. Well, actually I did get a very good start from the back row of the grid, so I then gradually worked my way through, and then found myself got up to 3rd overall, and I thought, yeah, I don't want to push it and crash, so I thought I'd settle for 3rd, and then that's a good result from the back row of the grid, so I got the fastest lap as well, so I was pleased with that.
Lance Carey, 2nd position. You set off like a rocket, but you just couldn't quite hold back Mark Cheetham there. What happened?
Just fatigue, really. I've got to work on my fitness when I get back home, and that. All credit to Mark Cheetham. He rode really well this weekend, and no better time for me to take some wins in the Junior Championship, in front of the British crowds. Can't ask for more than that.
Now the Triumph Triple Challenge Michelin Young Guns Championship points. Mark Kringle leads the way from Josh Wainwright and Lance Carey. Rhys Rothwell is 4th, Andy Marriott 5th, and Scott Rowbottom in 6th. Ding dong. Welcome back to a very sunny Brands Hatch. The MRO Pirelli Metzler Superstock 1000s gridded up and ready to roll. Tim Bourne on pole position. Alex Simon and Barry Chapman on that front row. Sam Bishop, Lee Hodge, Scott Halliday and Dave Moxon the 2nd row, with the red lights on and off. And away they go. The run up towards Paddock Hill Bend. And what a start from Sam Bishop. Sam just cutting down inside Paddock Hill Bend and into the lead. A brilliant run from him. Number 23 it is that shows first. Then Mike Goodfellow on the 81 machine tucked in behind. So it's Yamaha Suzuki at the moment. And up behind them, pole sitter, number 33, Tim Bourne on another Yamaha. Tim, ex-champion of Brands, ex-Lord of Lyddon many times, ex-British Superbike rider. Oh, just running up the inside of Carl Nelson there, number 35. Carl getting a little out of shape on the run into Surtees, but stays on board. There we see number 3, Peter Baker, and just behind Carl Nelson there, the yellow fairing, and number 47, Barry Chapman. And the entire field streaming heading down the dip there and up through Hawthorns along the Derek Minter Straight, and still Sam Bishop leads. Sam, a fine young rider, a couple of seasons ago had an absolutely brilliant time chasing John Paul Scott in the BSB Championships, but moving up on to 600. 600s he didn't seem to take to quite as well as he has to these big 1000cc bikes. He's been absolutely mustard since he got on board these, and he's loving it, and here he is, a good start, leading at the moment from Mike Goodfellow. Mike, again, a member of the BSB Club for many a year, and a very successful rider indeed, and very quick, and he tries to run it down the outside of the top straight. He's alongside Sam Bishop, can't quite turn it in time, but Sam runs wide on the exit. Mike will give it beans up the inside into Druids, but Sam is very quick there, just chops across his nose to take the line through the corner. And Peter Baker in 4th place there, chasing Tim Bourne hard. No gaps developing up the front of this. This is how we like to see it. Altogether, Carl Nelson still there ahead of Barry Chapman in 5th and 6th. Ooh, and Tim Bourne just losing out to Peter Baker. Peter just slightly quicker into Surtees, and he carries that speed up the hill. So number 3, Peter Baker into 3rd. Tim Bourne in his wheel tracks. Carl Nelson just hanging in there behind Tim Bourne. Then it's Barry Chapman, and chasing Barry is Lee Hodge on the number 14 machine. Up through Sheen Curve they come. Sam Bishop still leading, but still no breakaway at the front. Really, any one of these riders, they're all previous race winners, all well capable of winning, and Sam probably the least experienced of the riders out there. One of the youngest in the race, but he's hanging on in there. Got himself a little gap now. Go on, head down and goes. And Mike Goodfellow it's still in his wheel tracks. Peter Baker in 3rd, still under pressure from Tim Bourne. And on the back of that group, we see Barry Chapman chasing Carl Nelson up the hill into Druids. And under the bridge, onto Clearway, still Mike Goodfellow chasing Sam Bishop, still Peter Baker in 3rd place ahead of Tim Bourne. And look at Sam go. He's got himself this handy little lead. Not so handy that he can feel in the slightest bit comfortable. Look at Barry Chapman, he's all the way around the outside of Tim Bourne on the run into Paddock Hill Bend. Not the easiest thing to do, and certainly not to somebody like Tim Bourne. And the back wheel sliding there from Sam Bishop, but he is looking very comfortable. The longer he stays in the lead, the more likely it is that he can hang on to it. He is looking very confident indeed, but he does not want to look over his shoulder and see this mob behind. So much experience there. Mike Goodfellow there we see in 3rd. Peter Baker being chased by Barry Chapman and Tim Bourne. Big twitches as they crest the rise at the top of Surtees. Down they come. Look at Barry Chapman lining up Peter Baker. My goodness me. Beautifully done. Barry Chapman is into 3rd, and Peter Baker does not like that a bit, and thinks about coming back down the inside into Westfield, but that's not going to work for him. Westfield, a corner that's been tightened up twice over the years, and has to be treated, as do all these corners on the Grand Prix loop, with the utmost of respect. At the moment, with no respect for his elders. There's Sam Bishop out the front. He may be one of the younger riders in this race, but he's got fresh air in front of him and the mob behind him. And look at him go. He is stretching them now, and the battles behind are assisting him in his lead. But Sam, this is just so good for the young rider. He comes from Norfolk. He's got great support from Kester Cunningham John, who are firm of, I think, solicitors up there. And look at this, Barry Chapman is trying to run it round the outside of Mike Goodfellow and Druids. My goodness me. Oh no, it's not going to work. Oh, Barry chucks it away. Oh, wonderful stuff. Well, Barry straight back to his bike, telling the marshals, come on boys, pick it up, I want to have a play. He'll be back out if he can be, but oh, what a shame for him. But superb stuff from Sam Bishop. Yes, has a little look down. This is going to be about half a lap to go as he runs through Westfield and down into Dingledale. What an immaculate ride from Sam Bishop. He got away well at the start from the second row of the grid, remember. He's got a lot of really experienced guys behind him, but who cares as far as he's concerned? He's out the front, that's all that matters. He will be absolutely loving this, as will his family, who are just such loyal supporters of his racing. Here he comes, off clearways for the last time, and what a sight, the checkered flag. Sam Bishop, yes, he's almost wrenching a throttle off there. Yes, time to punch the air, and look at the chase for second. Mike Goodfellow just holding off a flying Peter Baker. Peter up into third behind Mike and Sam. Carl Nelson a good fourth. Lee Hodge getting up into fifth ahead of pole sitter Tim Bourne. Well, Sam Bishop, absolutely, he will be exhausted by that, but he will be loving every second of it. The winner of the Pirelli Metzler Superstock 1000s.
Very hard, very hot. As the race got on, the tyres started to get a little bit slippery, and as several was going down, I really thought I was on for maybe second, but every time I sort of pushed, there was getting movement in the tyres, and I'm just thinking if I push that a little bit harder, I could be joining the ones in the gravel trap, so I'm more than happy to finish third.
I mean, Sam's been riding well all weekend, and I know that he was going to be definitely one of the ones up the front. Yesterday I struggled a little bit trying to get some rear grip, made some changes today, improved the bike quite a lot, so that was, happy with that. Yeah, I'm pleased with the race. It's the first time out this year on the bike in the championship. I haven't got any sponsors this year, so I'm picking and choosing the rounds I can do. So, I'm happy with the weekend. So, yeah, and happy that Sam's riding so well as well.
Sam Bishop, convincing win out there, but crikey, that heat looks like he's taking his toll.
That was 5 minutes, I'm still sweating. It's great to be here this weekend, especially the weather, fans, everything like that, everyone here. It's just big thank yous, first of all, to us, Kester, Cunningham, John, the main sponsor. Been a great help this year, and without them we wouldn't be able to be racing here this weekend, so hopefully it's a good double for them as well.
So that's it from this BSB weekend here at Brands Hatch. Great stuff from the club racers. We'll meet again in just a couple of weeks when the racing comes from Silverstone. Time to wind up the cat and put the clock out.